Do carbs make you fat? And is eating carbs necessary if you want to gain muscle and get stronger? Look, let's cut to the chase. Because if you really value making fitness your lifestyle, you need to get over some of the absolute dumbest fitness myths that continue to keep you stuck. And this whole thing about carbs is one of them. Here's the truth. The diet industry has you up in arms. So many of you have been lied to. You're irrationally afraid of carbs. You're stuck in the matrix of lies. You won't even eat carbs because you think they'll make you fat. You're stuck wondering why you can't build muscle, can't lose weight, and have absolutely no energy to even just simply live your life. Honey, it's time for you to take the red pill of fitness, because today we're going to break down common myths around carbs and show you exactly how your body uses them to transform you from inside out. I want you to walk away with a greater understanding of how carbs actually work in the body and help you to figure out whether you need to cut them or keep them in your diet. Before we jump into the nitty-gritty of today's conversation, I want you to consider what science has to say about the carb thing. Several studies, including research from the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, have shown that dietary fiber, a type of carbohydrate found in foods such as whole grains, fruits, and veggies, is necessary to maintain a normal weight and healthy heart, and to keep your digestive system regular. This flies in the face of what many fitness influencers try to sell you on low-carb diets and how you need to almost eliminate all carbs in order to lose weight, right? Let me know if you've heard this common myth. All carbs are pretty much terrible for you and need to be cut, especially if you want to lose weight. There's really no difference in carbs. You need to cut them for results. So carbs from fruit, bread, potatoes, and candy are basically the same. No matter what the nutritional value, they should be eliminated from the diet. How can I say this? This is absolutely wrong. The quality of carbs we eat directly impacts blood sugar and how insulin spikes in response. For instance, let's take a look at bread. A slice of white bread has a completely different impact on blood sugar than a slice of whole wheat bread. Even though they're both bread, the fiber in the whole wheat bread will cause less of an insulin spike and crash during digestion. This helps to control hunger and prevent fat gain from the overcompensation of empty calories, which can be very common with highly processed, low-fiber carbs like white bread. In comparison, a piece of fruit and a candy bar both raise blood sugar, but that fruit is going to have a far different effect on the body. Not only are you also going to get a jolt of much-needed nutrients in the form of vitamins and minerals from the fruit, you're also consuming a higher amount of fiber. This will cause more stable energy levels throughout your day by controlling the insulin spike during digestion. And all of this needs to be considered whether you are trying to lose weight or gain muscle. Are you starting to see how these lies start to fall apart when you look at the science? How many weeks, months, years have you been spending trying to avoid one of the most important macronutrients your body needs for vital energy to fuel your day, fuel your workout, and fuel your life? Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's be honest. One of the things you've heard time and again about carbs is that they'll make you fat, right? Wrong. Repeat after me. Eating carbs don't contribute to fat gain. In fact, study after study continually shows that carbs alone don't make you fat. Let's blow your mind with some proven facts. In 2016, a clinical trial was performed on 16 overweight or obese men over an 8-week period. Keep in mind, this was a tightly controlled study, whereas participants had no access to outside food and were closely monitored. For 4 consecutive weeks, the men were fed a standard high-carb American diet, so 50% carbohydrates, 15% protein, and 35% fat. The diet itself included refined carbs, including things like lemonade, granola bars, pretzel sticks, and sandwich bread. The progress for these participants was closely monitored and recorded. Now, for the next 4 weeks, participants were immediately switched to a very low carbohydrate ketogenic diet, 5% carbohydrates, 15% protein, and 80% fat. Now keep this in mind. Both the high carb and the ketogenic diet were equal in calories and protein. So the difference was in the amount of carbs and fat on the diet. For physical activity, participants rode an exercise bike for 30 minutes daily. You won't believe the results. So which do you think had the biggest impact, the high carb or the keto plan? Well, after the first 4 weeks, the week spent on the high carb diet, participants lost 1.1 pounds of body fat on average. Pretty good. Comparing that to the time spent on the keto diet for 4 weeks, there was a noticeable dip in insulin levels by almost half. However, just like the high carb plan, participants lost 1.1 pounds of body fat. There was no difference between these eating patterns on fat loss despite difference in insulin levels. And it clearly indicates that low carb isn't a magic formula for fat loss, and you can indeed drop fat while eating carbs. One thing the study did conclude was that switching to the low carb diet did cause an initial sharp decrease in total weight loss, but this was due to the drop in water weight that typically accompanies carb restriction. What about when it comes to muscle gain? How do carbs impact that? And are they necessary to put on muscle and get stronger? Well, here's another study you should consider. Researchers at the University of Illinois took a look at the impact of carbohydrates and protein on the body's response to post-workout nutrition. Participants were trained and then either given a placebo, a pure carbohydrate meal, a pure leucine meal, or a carbohydrate and leucine meal. Now, leucine is the amino acid primarily responsible for the anabolic effect of dietary protein. The researchers then measured the rates of skeletal muscle protein synthesis, basically the catalyst to building muscle. And what they found here was mind-blowing too. The pure carbohydrate meal had absolutely no impact on protein synthesis, but the meal containing leucine significantly increased protein synthesis. But something else even more astounding happened. They found that the meal containing carbohydrates and leucine increased skeletal muscle protein synthesis to a greater degree than the protein-only meal. Now, I know what you're probably saying, girl, what the heck does all of this mean? Listen, I got you. In plain English, it seems to indicate that carbohydrates and amino acids, specifically leucine, have a synergistic effect on protein synthesis, meaning you need both post-workout to get the results that you want to build muscle. These studies prove one thing, that carbs play a crucial role, whether your goal is fat loss or building muscle. And I want you to keep this in mind if you are really and truly serious about not wasting your time and putting yourself in the best possible position to see the results that you want. Look, as a coach, I love helping people to change their bodies and to get results for good. And the sad part is that not everyone in the fitness industry has your best interest at heart. So the only way for you to stop running around in circles is to truly learn the science behind the why. So if that's something that's important to you, smash the like button right now and subscribe to the channel. See the link below to work with me if you need help. But even with all that I've shared, this stuff is just one aspect of transforming your body. Some of the biggest myths around building muscle challenges whether you can do all of this naturally through diet and training alone. As someone who works with bodybuilders, the one pushback I continue to get is that it's simply not possible to build muscle naturally. And at some point, supplements and performance enhancers must come into the equation. And you know what? That's a great question. It is possible. And one of my secrets to success for building muscle naturally is specialized training. Watch this next video so I can break down exactly how it works.